the dim glow of a flickering kitchen bulb, Aisha collapsed onto the cold tile floor of the empty mansion, her uniform soaked with the remnants of spilled cleaning water that mirrored the tears streaming down her ebony cheeks. The letter clutched in her trembling hands, creased and worn from endless rereading, announced the final betrayal. Her fiancé, the man who had promised forever under the stars of their small hometown, had married another, leaving her with nothing but the echo of his lies and the weight of a shattered heart. "How could I be so blind?" she whispered to the shadows, her voice breaking like fragile glass, as waves of heartbreak crashed over her, pulling her under into a sea of self-doubt and isolation. In that moment, the world blurred, and all she could feel was the raw, unrelenting ache of being utterly, irreparably broken. Aisha's days blurred into a monotonous haze in the sprawling estate where she worked as a maid, her once vibrant spirit dimmed by the invisible chains of denial. At 25, with her smooth, deep brown skin and eyes that held the depth of ancient rivers, she was often called beautiful by the passing guests of her employer, Mr. Hargrove, a wealthy widower who barely noticed her beyond her efficiency. But beauty felt like a cruel joke now. "I'm fine," she'd mutter to herself each morning, forcing a smile as she polished the silverware, her mind replaying the letter like a broken record. Denial was her shield, a fragile armor against the truth that her love had been an illusion, built on deceit. She had left her rural Georgia home 2 years ago, chasing dreams of a life with Jamal, only to discover his infidelity through a cold, impersonal note from a mutual friend. He didn't mean it, she'd think, scrubbing floors with furious vigor, as if the motion could erase the pain. But at night, alone in her tiny attic room, the denial cracked, letting the pain seep in like icy water through a dam. The estate was a world of opulence that mocked her inner turmoil. Crystal chandeliers glittering like unattainable stars, vast rooms echoing with silence. Aisha's interactions were sparse, limited to curt nods from the cook or the gardener. Yet, one afternoon, as snow began to blanket the grounds in a premature winter storm, she encountered Mrs. Ellis, the elderly housekeeper who had been with the Hargroves for decades. Mrs. Ellis, with her wrinkled hands and kind, knowing eyes, paused while folding linens. "Child, you carry the weight of the world in those shoulders," she said softly, her voice laced with southern warmth. Aisha froze, her mop dripping forgotten water. "I'm just tired," she replied, denial flaring up like a defensive flame. But Mrs. Ellis persisted, sharing a cup of tea in the servants' quarters. "I lost my husband young, to war and lies," the older woman confided. "Denied it for years, buried the hurt. But pain don't stay buried. It festers." Aisha's chest tightened, her internal voice screaming, "No, this isn't like that. Jamal will come back. Yet." As Mrs. Ellis spoke of her own journey, small cracks formed in Aisha's facade. The pain hit hardest during the quiet hours. One evening, as the blizzard howled outside, Aisha found herself in the library, dusting books she never had time to read. A volume slipped from her grasp, a collection of poetry, and opened to a line. "In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer." The words pierced her, stirring a whirlwind of emotions. "Why me?" she thought, sinking into an armchair, tears flowing freely now. Memories flooded. Jamal's laughter, his promises, the way he vanished without a word, leaving her to piece together rumors of his new life. The betrayal felt like a knife twisting deeper. Failure as a woman, a lover, a dreamer. She had poured her soul into that relationship, sacrificing her aspirations for college, only to be discarded. "I'm worthless," she whispered, the pain manifesting as sobs that shook her frame. In her mind, she replayed every moment, questioning her worth, her beauty, her blackness in a world that often overlooked it. But amidst the agony, a small victory emerged. That night, after crying until exhaustion, Aisha rose and wrote in a hidden journal, "Today, I admitted it hurts. That's something." It was a tentative step, sparked by Mrs. Ellis's gentle probing. The next day, during a rare break, she helped the young stable boy, Timmy, mend a broken fence in the snow. His innocent chatter, "Miss Aisha, why do birds fly south? Is it 'cause they're scared of the cold?" drew a genuine laugh from her, the first in months. Maybe they're just looking for warmth, she replied, realizing the parallel to her own frozen heart. Timmy's wide-eyed wonder offered a spark of warmth, a reminder that connection existed beyond betrayal. Yet, pain lingered, a constant companion, as the storm outside mirrored her inner chaos. Denial began to fade, but the raw ache demanded confrontation, pushing Aisha toward the unknown edges of healing. As the blizzard intensified, blanketing the estate in a white shroud, Aisha entered a phase of deep reflection, her mind a turbulent sea slowly calming. The pain from Chapter 1 had stripped away her denial, leaving her vulnerable yet open. Mornings now began with quiet contemplation by her window, watching snowflakes dance like fleeting thoughts. What if I was enough all along? She pondered internally, the question echoing in her soul. Reflection came in waves. During mundane tasks, she'd pause, recalling Jamal's betrayal not with anger, but curiosity. Why had she ignored the signs? The late nights, the evasive answers. It wasn't just his fault. She had betrayed herself by dimming her light for his. This realization stung, but it was a purifying fire, burning away illusions. Interactions deepened her journey. Mrs. Ellis became a mentor, sharing stories over herbal tea. Healing ain't linear, dear. It's like this snow, covers everything, but spring always comes. One evening, as they prepared for Mr. Hargrove's absence, he was away on business. Aisha confessed, I feel lost, like I'll never trust again. Mrs. Ellis squeezed her hand. Trust starts with you. Look in the mirror, see the queen you are. Inspired, Aisha began small acts of self-care, reading borrowed books, sketching in her journal, reclaiming pieces of her dreams. A stranger's encounter amplified this. While fetching supplies in town, she met Lena, a fellow black woman at the market, bundled against the cold. Lena, sensing Aisha's quiet sorrow, shared, I survived divorce. Thought it broke me, but it rebuilt me stronger. Their conversation, laced with shared cultural nods, resilience forged in adversity, sparked warmth. You're beautiful, inside out, Lena said, handing her a warm scarf. Aisha's internal dialogue shifted. Maybe pain is a teacher, not an enemy. The turning point arrived during the height of the storm. Venturing out to secure the gates, Aisha heard faint cries amid the howling wind. Her heart raced. Reflection had heightened her empathy. There, in a snowdrift by the road, lay a man, freezing and delirious, clutching a bundled child whose coughs pierced the night. The dad, pale and desperate, whispered, Help, my boy. Sick. Car broke down. Time slowed. Aisha's trauma flashed. Loss, abandonment, but reflection urged action. I won't let fear win, she thought. Drawing on inner strength, she dragged them to the estate, her maid's uniform whipping in the gale. Inside, she tended them, warming blankets, herbal remedies from Mrs. Ellis's teachings, calling for help despite the blocked lines. The child, little Joey, with feverish eyes, clung to her. You're like an angel, he murmured, his small hand in hers evoking a maternal warmth she hadn't known she craved. As paramedics arrived hours later, drawn by her persistent signals, the town buzzed with the miracle. But for Aisha, it was personal growth incarnate. Nursing them, she reflected on her journey. Denial buried pain. Pain forced truth. Reflection birthed wisdom. Interactions with Joey sparked realizations. His innocent trust mirrored what she needed for herself. You saved us, the dad, recovering, said gratefully. No, Aisha replied softly. You reminded me I could save myself. Small victories accumulated, standing taller, embracing her beauty without apology, planning to pursue education. The estate felt less confining. Her heart, once fractured, now mended with golden threads of experience. In the storm's aftermath, as sunlight pierced the snow, Aisha stood outside, breathing deeply. Internal peace settled like fresh powder, self-acceptance bloomed, renewing her spirit. She was no longer defined by betrayal but by her resilience, a young black woman whose beauty radiated from within. The miracle wasn't just the rescue. It was her transformation, a testament to emerging stronger from the depths. Moral of the story. In the face of profound emotional wounds, true healing arises not from avoiding pain, but from embracing its stages, denial giving way to honest ache, reflection fostering insight, and growth emerging through acts of courage and connection. Inner strength is forged in vulnerability, teaching us that self-acceptance is the ultimate miracle, empowering us to rescue not only others, but our own shattered selves, proving that even in the coldest winters of the soul, renewal awaits those who dare to thaw.